Welcome back to a video. Today we are back from the NFL tier list video. Today ranking all the offenses. And honestly, I've actually already done this video, but it was about a month ago, and a lot's actually gone down since then. With a lot of changes to other teams, news coming out of training camp. My opinion's just kind of changing, so I kind of wanted to update this and do a new video on it, just so it's a more kind of like final version before the season starts, a lot closer to, because honestly I wasn't comfortable with some of my predictions in the last video because it was so long ago and a lot of stuff did change as the offseason went on. So this is going to be my final offensive prediction video, and I'm also going to do a final defensive one as well. But my ranking team is going to stay kind of like how I had. I'm not going to do another one of those. But for the offenses, we're just going to start out with the Eagles. Now, the Eagles offense I absolutely love, and I think it will be one of the best offenses next year. You have Jalen Hurts, you have A.J. Brown, you have Devonta Smith, you have Dallas Goedert still, and then you also bring in DeAndre Swift. I really don't see how it gets worse from last year, and it was already incredible last year. I see Jalen Hurts continuing to really take more steps and kind of just prove that he is going to be consistent at that level of play. So I'm putting the Eagles in S tier. I like the Eagles a lot. Also, I didn't like the way it was ordered, so I kind of rearranged it. I think I had a lot of like really good teams at the front, and then some bad teams kind of mixed it. I didn't like that. I kind of scrambled it so it's a bit more, kind of out of order. But next is Washington. Now, Washington is a team that I've actually kind of changed my mind on a bit from last video and just kind of overall, just how that team's going to perform. I honestly can't remember what I ranked it. I want to say I put it in maybe B. I wouldn't think I put it in A, but if I did, I'm going to put it back in A. I think Sam Howell's actually very, very good. He's looked pretty good in training camp. He's had some great deep passes to Terry McLaurin. He's connected with Jahan Dotson a few times. I really think Washington has a very fun offense. They have Brian Robinson still. You have Curtis Samuel. He's quite the playmaker too. I like it a lot. They're in a very tough division, but as far as that offense goes, I do think that it's going to be very exciting. And I'm actually going to put them in A. Might be a bit of a hot take there. I don't know, but I think Washington is going to surprise some people this year. I really do think that. Next is the Lions. They're actually going to join them in A. The Lions offense, I think, is going to be really, really good. They're missing Jameson Williams for the first 6 games because of the whole suspension thing. But other than that, and I think even without him, they were great last year on offense. I think they just get better, honestly. With these, you still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You bring in David Montgomery, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure David Montgomery. Yeah, you bring David Montgomery. I'm not sure why I second guess myself. You draft Jahmyr Gibbs, who seems to be something that offense is going to be really built around. Jared Goff played pretty well. You have Marvin Jones now also back in Detroit, and of course, again, Jameson, once that suspension is over, is back. I mean, I guess not back, but he's still there. So the Lions offense, I like it a lot. They're going to stay in A. And the next is the Falcons. I'm actually going to put them. I think I had them in A. I'm going to move them down to B. Falcons fans are going to hate me since I'm already a Panthers fan. But I am just not sold on Ridder. I think Bijan is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year quite easily, unless he gets injured or something. Otherwise, I think it's pretty much a lock. I think Drake London will have a pretty good second year. I think Kyle Pitts will bounce back. But I don't know if that goes through Ridder, honestly. You have Heineke back there. Heineke is not very consistent, but at least he has some experience. Ridder seems to be quite inaccurate in training camp. And again, I know it is just training camp, but he's had some badly underthrown balls. I don't know. I'm very, very kind of worried about the Falcons as far as that goes, so I'm not going to rank them as high. You can definitely make a case for putting them in A, because again, I did put them in A, and I can't remember last if I said I was high on Ridder or not, but I'm a little nervous there. So they're going to go in B. If you have them in A, I won't really bat an eye. It's very respectable. That's definitely their ceiling for this year, I think, if Ridder can kind of bring everything together. But again, love Bijan. Ridder kind of scares me. They're going to go in B. The Bills are going to go in A. I really would like to put them in S, but I'm just not really sure if they're going to be an S tier offense. You have Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis is pretty good, but I mean, Davis is not super consistent throughout the year either. You do draft Dalton Kincaid, though, who I think is actually pretty good at tight end. Whether that'll be in the first year or not, I don't know, but I think he will eventually be a very good tight end. You still have Dawson Knox, and then you have James Cook still. So I think it's going to be a good offense, and of course Josh Allen. I didn't say that, but it's just kind of a given. It's going to be a great offense, but again, I think there are some weak points as far as receiver goes. I think Stephon Diggs, and there's a bit of a drop-off after that. But still a great offense. You still have Josh Allen. He's still going to kind of, boost that entire offense. That's just what he does. So they're going to be an A tier offense. Next is the Chargers. They are also going to be an A-tier offense. I love Justin Herbert, of course. Quentin Johnston's actually looked quite good in training camp. I was a little interested to see how they're going to utilize him since he's kind of similar to Mike Williams. But Quentin Johnston's actually looked pretty good so far. Again, whenever I bring up training camp, I don't need the comments to be yelling at me that it's just training camp. I get it, I know, but you still want to see those flashes. It's still a good sign. So the fact that he is making some plays is a good sign. You still have Keenan Allen, you still have Mike Williams, you still have Austin Eckler. It's a great offense. I think it's going to, as long as they stay healthy, continue to be a great offense this year too. So they're going in A tier. Next is the Colts. The Colts is a team that has changed a lot since the last time I did this video. But let's start with the good. First off, the good is that Anthony Richardson has taken a lot of first-team reps since last I did this video, and he's looked pretty good doing it. He's had a few really good deep passes for touchdowns. He's actually looked pretty accurate, considering those were all question marks surrounding him. He's actually looked pretty good. Some of the bad things is Jonathan Taylor. A lot of contract drama that, you know, we're not going to sign him, and then he has a meeting with the owner, and then he's still not going to sign him. He requests a trade. They say they're not going to trade him, and then they say that he injured his back, and they're going to put him on the non-football injury list to, like, withhold his pay. So, I don't know. And then Taylor comes back and says there is no back pain. I have no idea where this stands, but it seems like that relationship will not be fixed. Again, if it is fixed, you know, then I guess it doesn't matter. Just forget what I'm saying, depending on, like, whenever you're watching this. But as of right now, I do not see a way that he stays in Indianapolis or even plays, at least a majority of this year. So, last time I put them in B, Taylor adds a lot to this offense, but I am going to put them in B anyway, because I think Richardson surprises a lot of people, and I think you have Michael Pittman, and you have Josh Downs, and I think he's going to actually use that offense very well for what he can do. Zach Moss, the backup running back, he breaks his arm, so now you're down Taylor and Zach Moss. But I am a big believer in Richardson. I think he can put it all together. You still have Alec Pierce in his second year as well. He's a pretty solid receiver. I think you have an okay offense, but man, missing Jonathan Taylor is tough. But again, the reason I'm putting him there is also because there are still guys like Zeke not signed, Leonard Fournette not signed, even Dalvin Cook. I can't see him going to Indianapolis, but again, they could very easily sign a veteran running back, help fill that hole, and kind of solidify everything. So they're going to stay in B just for a different reason than what I may have said in the last video. Next is the Saints. The Saints, I am going to still put in B. I think Derek Carr is not very good. I think he's pretty much average, but you still have a lot of weapons on that offense. You still have Taysom Hill, of course, but you have Chris Olave, who is someone I really wish the Saints did not have since I don't like the Saints at all. But that guy can really play football. He is a very good receiver. I think his ceiling is very high in the NFL. I think he's going to have a big second year. And again, while Derek Carr isn't the best, he's better than Andy Dalton. And Dalton was able to get the ball to Chris Olave pretty consistently last year. So the Saints, I think, are going to have a pretty good offense. Nothing crazy, but definitely very solid for what Derek Carr can bring them. Alvin Kamara had his legal situation, I guess, fixed, kind of, I think, legally, but it's confirmed he will be suspended. We just don't know for how long. That's a big hit. For however long it is, it's going to be a big hit to that offense. So they're going to go in B. Next is the Broncos. This is a team I thought about, actually, whenever I finished filming the last video, because I feel like they could be an A-tier offense, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. And also, unfortunately, Tim Patrick, again, second year in a row that guy goes down with a season-ending injury in training camp. You just hate to see it. Last year's an ACL, this year's an Achilles. Very rough. But, you know, you still have Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams, who on the bright side, kind of the injuries topic for the Broncos, has actually bounced back, I think, better than expected. And he's been, I think, making some pretty good plays, I think, as far as what he can and is allowed to do so far on that ACL rehab. We have Cortland Sutton still, Jerry Jeudy still. I do think the Broncos will bounce back from what they had last year. So I'm going to put them in B, but if Russ can put things together, I think they could be an A-tier offense. But I think, realistically, we'll say B tier. But again, still a step up from last year, because last year was pretty rough. Next is the Patriots. So I have gone back and forth on the Patriots, I don't know how many times, as far as like what Mac Jones can do, how I feel about the receivers. And honestly, I really don't know. And I think I'm just going to keep it the same as I did. I think I put him in B last time. I'm just going to put him in B. again, I go back and forth on Mac Jones. I think if he goes back to his kind of play style he had rookie year, he is a pretty good quarterback. But I don't know if that's going to happen, and they don't have the best receivers either. I think last video, it was kind of like, you know, if they land DeAndre Hopkins, but they didn't. So you still have Juju Smith-Schuster. You don't have Jacoby Myers anymore. Tyquan Thornton, maybe he'll be good in his second year. Ramondre Stevenson, though, is, in my opinion, kind of the highlight of that offense. So they're going to go B. I really don't know what to make the Patriots. Comment down below what you guys think the Patriots. That's one of the hardest teams for me to rank as far as offenses go. I really don't know how that's going to go for them this year. Next to the Vikings. The Vikings are going to go to A tier. Their defense is pretty bad, but it's not a defensive video. It's an offensive video. So they're going pretty high up there. You have Kirk still. Justin Jefferson, of course. You draft Jordan Addison. You still have KJ Osborne. You lose Dalvin Cook, but Alexander Madison's a pretty good running back. And you still have TJ Hawkinson. Very, very good offense. I see big things for them this year as far as their offense goes. The team as a whole, if you didn't see it, go check out my rankings video for all that. But just ranking the offenses, the Vikings have one of the better offenses, I think. It's just a matter of kind of where they fall. So I don't really want to put them in S tier, but definitely A tier at the worst. Next is the Giants. So I cannot remember where I put the Giants. I don't know if I put them in B or A, but I am going to put them in A. I've actually liked what I've seen as so far in the offseason from them. Daniel Jones still looks pretty accurate. It looks like he's been playing pretty well. You still have Saquon Barkley now officially. Last video, it was still kind of up in the air. You sign him, at least for this year, so you have him still. You bring in Darren Waller. I still love that addition. And then also, as of late, Jalen Hyatt actually looking pretty good in training camp. He didn't really do that great last time. I did the video. It was just kind of like he struggled a little bit with his OTAs or whatever that was. But now he's making plays. He's scoring touchdowns. Look, I don't know. Training camp hype can be very misleading, but Jalen Hyatt is fast. At the very least, he is very fast. So I like what I see from him. The Giants, I think, are going to have a pretty good offense. I think people are kind of hating on them after last year being like a fluke type thing. I don't think it's the case. I think the Giants actually have a pretty good offense this year. So they're going in A. And next is the Bears. Okay, the Bears are another team I've gone back and forth with because a lot of it hinges on Fields and what he's able to do as a passer. Because you bring in DJ Moore, which is an amazing addition, but it's up to Fields if he's going to be able to continue to grow as a passer. In my opinion, I think he does, and I think he's able to use DJ Moore very well. You still have Darnell Mooney. You re-signed Cole Kmet. I like the Bears offense. You even have Deontay Foreman, who's a very underrated running back. So I like the Bears offense a lot, but they are going to just go in B. I think their ceiling is A, but as of right now, there are still some question marks of whether what Fields can do or not. In my opinion, I think he does well, but again, I think the safe thing to go is just kind of B tier offense, which again is still better than last year. Next is the Chiefs. Again, keep this pretty brief. You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce, you bring in Kadarius Toney. Pretty injury prone, but again, his ceiling very high, quite the playmaker. Justin Ross, though, making a lot of noise in training camp. That guy can stay healthy. He's going to be a problem. You still have Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And, of course, like I said before, Patrick Mahomes. If you have Patrick Mahomes, he's going to give you a chance to win. Chiefs are going in S, a bit of a no-brainer there. Next is the Raiders. They're just going to go in B. A lot kind of went down since the last video as far as Josh Jacobs not having a contract. Now, as of I think just a day ago, the Raiders actually said they were open to having contract talks with him again. Whether that will go anywhere, I don't really know. But as of right now, not having Josh Jacobs is quite the hit to your offense. The good news, though, you still have Jimmy Garoppolo and you still have Devontae Adams. That is huge. You draft Michael Mayer, again, at tight end. I think that's a pretty good draft choice since you lose Darren Waller. The Raiders' offense, though, and the Raiders as a whole have a lot of question marks around them. I do think they will have a fairly decent offense because of guys like Devontae Adams. They're going to keep you in it. Garoppolo is a veteran, pretty good quarterback at times, so I trust that enough to put them in B. Next is the Packers. So Packers are a very exciting one because of Jordan Love. Again, this is like with a lot of question marks around, and then with a lot of question marks around it, I don't know where to really rank them because of Jordan Love. I am a believer that Jordan Love will actually be a pretty decent quarterback. So I'm putting them in B, but this is one that really depends on where you think like Jordan Love's going to fall in kind of like the quarterback tier list. I think he'll be pretty good, but if he's not, that offense is going to struggle. But you still have Christian Watson, you still have Aaron Jones, you still have A.J. Dillon, you still have some playmakers on that offense, but Jordan Love era underway. I'm pretty excited to see what happens with it. So they're going to go in B. Next is the Seahawks. They're going in A. I think the Seahawks offense is going to be very, very good. You have Geno Smith. Okay, we'll get to the running backs in a second, but you have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You draft Jackson Smith and Jigba. I did a solo video on him, which you guys really seem to like, by the way, so thanks for all the support on that video. But I think he's going to be one of, if not the best rookie wide receiver. I think he was a bit of a steal for them at that pick, and he's looked pretty good in training camp as well. But as far as the running backs go, you have Kenneth Walker, and you have Zach Charbonnet. However, both are injured right now, and that is... Again, for running backs, we know how quickly running backs can get kind of tossed to the side in this league, and they aren't even paid that much. And again, we still have a few weeks to week 1, so I'm not going to kind of make it overly dramatic. But again, it is something to watch. But they do also, at third string, have Kenny McIntosh, who was actually pretty good in college. He went to Georgia, very solid running back. He could definitely make plays in the NFL. But again, assuming everyone's healthy, Seahawks, very, very good offense. Of course, if Geno Smith can continue to play at the level he was last year. Next to the 49ers, they're going in S. It looks like Brock Purdy's been kind of cleared from that elbow injury. Whether that changes things or not, I don't know, because, again, it could be an injury that kind of affects his throwing motion for the rest of his career. But, again, we don't know that. We just know what we saw last year, and I think Brock Purdy is going to continue to be pretty good in that offense. You still have George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, who seems to be in even better shape than last year is what he's saying. Brandon Ayuk, who's looked very good in training camp, and he's just a very underrated receiver in general. And then, of course, you still have Christian McCaffrey as your running back. So, 49ers, I think we're going to have one of the better offenses this year. They're still going in S. And next is the Steelers. So, the Steelers is another team that's kind of looked pretty good in training camp because of George Pickens. Made some crazy one-handed plays. Deontay Johnson had a great sideline catch. All in all, things look pretty good for the Steelers on offense. You still have Najee Harris, of course, too. So, they're going to go in B, but with an A tier ceiling, if that makes sense. As of right now, I'm going to put them in B, but if more things click than what I'm expecting, they could definitely be A tier. It just depends on Kenny Pickett, who I do think will have a pretty good year, but again, not completely sold. I need to see more like actual, against other teams, type performances. But again, it looks pretty good as of right now, so they're going to go in B tier. Next is the Ravens. The Ravens is one where I'm going to put them in A, but if you put them in S, I completely respect it. So don't come at me or anything like that. If you have them in S, I totally agree. It's definitely valid. I have them in A in my personal opinion, but you have Lamar Jackson. You have J.K. Dobbins, who's supposed to be healthy, but I think he also is not happy with his contract. But, dude, you need to play games. Like, I know he's a good running back, but you got to at least go out there and prove it. But, again, so have Odell Beckham. You have Rashad Bateman now, Mark Andrews, and my favorite player on that offense is Zay Flowers. He's one of my favorite offensive rookies for this year. He's looked very, 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 very good in training camp. Apparently, Lamar calls him joystick because he's so shifty and elusive. I can totally see it. It's one of the best things about him. I like the Ravens offense a lot. They're going in A tier. Next is the Browns. The Browns, I don't know, man. You have Deshaun Watson, who has a very high ceiling if he can return to his kind of form he was before the whole holdout and then allegations and all that kind of stuff. Like whenever he was actually playing in Houston. And you still have Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper. You have Elijah Moore. I like that pick. I think it's going to be pretty good. But, I don't know. Does it all mesh together well? I really don't know. I don't know what to expect from Deshaun Watson. I go back and forth. Sometimes I think, oh, yeah, he still has it. He's going to go surprise some people. And then other times it's like, honestly, he looked really rough. But again, I really don't know. I think the Browns are going to have a B tier offense. But depending on what Deshaun Watson does, that could be much higher. So I'll leave it at that. Again, I'll let you guys comment that one down below. I guess comment whoever you want. But that's one I'd like to hear you guys' input on because I'm very back and forth when it comes to the Browns. Next is the Panthers. The Panthers... I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but Bryce Young has looked pretty good in practice. He's thrown some picks, but he's a rookie. His passes to DJ Chark, for whatever reason, looks so good. That connection has formed really well in training camp. He's had some great back shoulder passes, some great deep passes, even a low pass to Hayden Hurst in training camp for a touchdown. So I like the Panthers offense. I believe in Bryce Young. I believe in Jonathan Mingo. I think Adam Thielen was a great veteran addition. DJ Chark, if he can stay healthy, has looked very, very good. Terrace Marshall Jr. has a lot of potential there, so hopefully he can kind of show up this year too. And then you bring in Miles Sanders, who's a great running back. So I'm a believer in the Panthers. of course, as a fan. But again, not trying to be biased. I think they have a lot of kind of opportunity there. So they're gonna go in B tier. I have like no teams in C tier. I just like realized like a lot of the C tier ones are at the end. So whatever. Next is the Jets. The Jets are going to go in A. I have thought about putting them in S, but I'm a little hesitant. You have Rodgers, you have Garrett Wilson, and you have Alan Lazard now too. You have Breece Hall. You might even lay in Dalvin Cook. If you lay in Dalvin Cook, that could be an S tier offense. As of right now, nothing's official. I'm going to have them in A tier, but I think the Jets will have a very good year under Rodgers. But they have a brutal schedule. They have a very tough schedule, and of course a very tough division as well. So either way, though, great offense. They're going in A. Next is the Texans. I hate to be that guy, but they are going to go in C tier. But look, the Texans were horrible last year. Being in C tier, if you can establish CJ Stroud as a very decent quarterback that you think, like, you know, you watch him this year and you can see a lot of potential there, that's big for the Texans. Like, C tier, who cares? If you can just show that you have a quarterback you can count on for years to come, that is massive for them. So I like CJ Stroud, and I think he will be able to prove that. Still going to be C tier, though. You have Dameon Pierce. You have Nico Collins. Even John Mechie, actually, who I made a video on like months ago, talking about how he might be able to have a breakout year this year, was cleared for like all kind of football activity. He's actually pretty good in training camp, so I'm a little proud of myself for kind of seeing that one out. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I mean, I'm very happy for John Mechie, though. Great story, great comeback story. I hope he does well this year. Texans have some weapons, but it should be a feeling out year for CJ Stroud. But again, C tier there. The Rams. Okay, the Rams are a team I have gone back and forth on, not for S or A, but for like B, C, or even D. It's been so like Matthew Stafford, I think has kind of already hit his peak. I mean, probably years ago, but he won a Super Bowl even just a few years ago. I don't know if that's going to happen again as far as even him just like looking like he did. He had some injuries. Doesn't have a great offensive line. You still have Cooper Kupp, who I feel like I kind of cursed low-key. Made a video on how I think he could have like a huge bounce-back year, and then he gets hurt with a hamstring injury, so it might be my fault on that one. But if Cooper Kupp is hurt, man, that offense, you got Cam Akers and Ben Skowronek and Van Jefferson, man, that's about it. So they're going to go in C tier. I think individually, C tier I meant C tier, there we go. Cooper Kupp, I think individually will have a great year, but the Rams offense as a whole, I don't see it. I'm not going to lie. I do not see it. They're going in C tier. The Bengals are going in S tier. Little injury scare with the Joe Burrow calf thing. He should be fine, though. Apparently, he has a horrible August every year. Went from, like, COVID to appendix being removed. No, actually, it was COVID, ACL, appendix removed, and then now a calf. So he's just not cut out to play in training camp, apparently. But, again, he should be fine. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins. You have Tyler Boyd. Joe Mixon takes a pay cut to stay. You also draft Chase Brown, who I think will actually see the field a decent amount and actually look pretty good. And Irv Smith, who has a lot of potential if he can stay healthy. So they're going in S tier. They look really, really good just year after year after drafting Joe Burrow. So great pick by Cincinnati. They're going in S tier. The Buccaneers, man, okay, look. They're going to go in C tier, but if their quarterback situation is not solved or someone doesn't step up, that's going to be a long year because you have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, two very good receivers. But if you don't have anybody to give them the ball consistently, you are pretty screwed. And Baker Mayfield, I'm not falling for that. Again, as a Panthers fan, I'm not falling for it. I hope he has a good year, honestly, even though it's the Buccaneers. I hope he does. He's a very likable player for me because I think you can just tell how much he loves football, just the way he plays. But, man, him and Kyle Trask have not looked great. But you have Rachaad White, should be a pretty good running back at least. So, I don't know, C-tier offense. And next is the Cardinals, who are going to be the only D-tier offense of the video. I'm sorry, but, man, you don't have Kyler Murray for a few months. You lose DeAndre Hopkins. Dude, you have James Conner. I mean, that's really the only person you can rely on because even Marquise Brown, I mean, I don't know who's going to be getting him the ball. So, yes, Marquise Brown, but also no Marquise Brown because I'm not sure how he's going to get the ball consistently. Until Kyler Murray gets back, you have James Conner. I think the biggest thing for the Cardinals this year is just hope you have a good head coach. That's really the ceiling. I don't think you are going to be much better than a bottom 5 team. So just hope you have a head coach so you can start rebuilding and actually get to be pretty good in the next few years. But this year, I am not a believer in that offense. Next is the Jaguars. The Jaguars are going to actually hold on. Actually, I'm going to put them there. I don't want to talk about them. I'm going to say them for last. I don't want to talk about them yet. Next is the Titans. The Titans are one that have been really exciting to me. Last time I did the video, they didn't land DeAndre Hopkins. Now they have. So you have Tannehill, DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry, Treylon Burks again, and I don't remember how to say that tight end's name, but he's supposed to have a pretty good year. So I like the Titans offense a lot. I'm going to put them in A. I think landing DeAndre Hopkins was absolutely huge. Treylon Burks is good. Not wide receiver 1 yet. Now you have a veteran to learn under, and not only just a veteran, DeAndre Hopkins, who is the best receiver in the league for a few years, a couple of years ago. So that's huge for them. You still have Derrick Henry. Tannehill, while not the best quarterback in the league, is consistent enough to get those guys the ball. I like that offense a lot. They're going in A. Next is the Dolphins. They are going to land in S. You still have Tyreek Hill. Tua hopefully can stay healthy this year. I really hope for his sake. You have Jalen Waddle. And again, you are still technically in the Dalvin Cook kind of sweepstakes. So, again, I don't know, but that offense is just so fast, so hard to stop if everybody can stay healthy. They're going in S tier. Next is the Cowboys. They're going to go in A tier. I love CeeDee Lamb, but I think him and Brandon Cooks are going to have a huge year because I don't trust Dak, to be honest. The Cowboys offense could be so good. You even have Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has looked so good, especially last year. I mean, I guess not right now, but especially last year. You have Deuce Vaughn, who's actually pretty fun to watch. He looks like a little kid out there because he's like 5'4" or something. But he looks really good. I hope he makes the roster. And I think the Cowboys offense will be really good. It's just like Dak, I think, is just so up in the air. I really don't trust him. I'm not going to lie. I don't trust Dak. But they're going to go in A tier because at the very least, even with Dak's inconsistencies, they have a great offense, and they could go far in the playoffs, but probably not Super Bowl level in my opinion. But they're going to go in A. Next is the Jaguars, who are a team. This is going to be my kind of hot take of the video, all right? They're going in S tier offense. I think the Jaguars last year, what we saw in offense is a glimpse of what they can be with Trevor Lawrence. You have Trevor Lawrence now, a successful year under his belt, finally after his sabotage rookie year thanks to Urban Meyer. You have Christian Kirk still, you have Zay Jones still, you sign back Evan Ingram, and you get Calvin Ridley. And he looks so good. He looks so fast. His route running looks great. He looks like he's on a different level. I think he helps them take that offense to the next level. I think Trevor's going to kill it. And I'm a big fan of the Jaguars offense this year. Very big fan. But that is going to do it for the video. Usually I move around teams, but I actually kind of like how everything is right now. I was kind of looking at it. I like how everything looks right now. Of course, some of you probably don't, so comment down below anything you agree or disagree with. I am super excited for the NFL season to get here. This is my final version of predicting all the offenses going into this season. The defensive one will be out very soon after. So thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you guys are new around here, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more NFL content like this. I do NFL tier list videos, NFL quiz videos. I do I did my player prediction series. If you want to see that, go check it out. We'll be starting our team prediction series very soon. I have a kind of format for how it's going to work as well that I'll be going over here pretty soon too. We also do a Madden video starting August 15th when Madden 24 drops. We're doing no money spent, gameplays, pack openings, new pro and content news there. So it's always NFL on the channel one way or another, whether it's, Madden or NFL content. So thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.